Welcome to the best of high school sports in Northern California. We are the B Prep Show.
And we're coming to you a place of pride, specifically Bradshaw Christian High School in South Sacramento, home of the Pride.
Welcome back for another edition of the B Prep Show. I'm Mike Finnerty, joined as always by Joe Davidson, the Sacramento Bee, and we are coming to you from Bradshaw Christian High School in South Sacramento on the border of Elk Grove, and a small school powerhouse in all things athletics and academics.
Yeah, and Mike, that was the goal when this school opened 12 years ago, to make it an impact in the community with academics and athletics, and it's a small school wonder in Northern California. Great mascot, the Pride, and one of the marvels in coaching is Mike Rubel, and he is the athletic director, the girls varsity coach, the boys varsity coach in basketball for both those sports. He's won section championships in those two sports. He's done it on the same day at Sleep Train Arena where the Kings play, so he does a lot of good things. His wife says, you can't keep doing this. His wife's name's Stephanie. I need to see you around the house every once in a while. So he's doing this for the last year for all of those roles this year, but a great coach, great program, good to be at a small school venue.
Well, we have so much in the show. We're going to divide up what's actually going to be in the show. Speaking of Bradshaw Christian, we have a chance to catch up with a 1-2 tandem of athletes here. We're not going to tell you their names, so we got some good interviews with them. We have boys and girls basketball highlights. We get out to see Oak Ridge at Del Oro in both boys and girls. We see Lincoln at Placer in boys hoops, and we see Pleasant Grove go up against Granite in boys hoops, and Marquise Chris is quite impressive. What else we got?
Oh, we got some news and notes. We try to keep everybody informed of what's going on in Northern California, Sac Joaquin section. Shaq Thompson of Granite High School, All-American at Washington. He is indeed going into the NFL draft. We've talked to him in recent weeks. Eric Armstead, his buddy from Pleasant Grove in Elk Grove out of Oregon, the big 6'8", 290-pound defensive end, also going into the NFL draft. Both projected first-round picks. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Coaching news for high school football. Big name coach in the Sac Joaquin section steps down. Why he did it. And also, you saw Michael Malone, the ex-Kings coach, in an unusual spot. And DeMarcus Cousins of the Kings was at an unusual spot as well. All good stuff, and how it all ties in with high schools.
Yes, we're going to talk about all that stuff, so stick around for the full show. We're going to start it off with our Les Schwab Game of the Week. It's Oak Ridge at Del Oro Girls Hoops. We lead off our highlights with a big-time showdown, the Sierra Foothill League, where the Sacramento Bees #2 ranked Oak Ridge Trojans were on the road in Loomis to take on the #6 Del Oro Golden Eagles. To the action now, and it's Shelby Peters for Oak Ridge, knocking down a corner three to go up 7-4 early, but Del Oro would keep it close with plays like this by Lauren Hines. She uses the left hand. Second quarter now, Del Oro grabs its first lead of the game here as Hannah Jordyn makes it 23-22 Golden Eagles, and that would be your score at the half. In the third quarter, Del Oro maintained its lead. You can't see her, but Tyler Marinan, she's going to hit a three to go up by 3. And then it's Ellen Runty down the lane with ease, putting Del Oro up by 5 after 3 complete. Gold Eagles went up by as many as 6 early in the fourth, but Oak Ridge got a pair of big-time three-pointers from Yumi Drassos. That helped Oak Ridge to get to within 1 with 4:34 left. This rebound and put back by Isamar Conde put Oak Ridge on top by 1 with 3:19 to go. Now, with a minute left in the game, score tied at 45, Grace Dirksen delivers with a big three-pointer. That would prove to be the dagger. Oak Ridge would sink a pair of free throw late and hang on to beat Del Oro by a final of 50-45, extending its winning streak to 5 games while taking sole possession of first in the SFL at 5-0.
You know, I think we've been on a little bit of a roller coaster ride of late, so this was a tough battle for us and a kind of good win when I think we got some better basketball that we can play ahead of us, so I'm kind of excited what that can hold if we can just turn that corner and get going back up and hopefully peak at the right time this year.
Let's go back to Del Oro for Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Golden Eagles and the visiting Oak Ridge Trojans. It's the boys' turn this time, and we saw a good one. Early on, it was all Oak Ridge, though. Matt Battaglia to Connor Schmoody puts the Trojans up 9-0 to start the game. But Del Oro came back and tied it 11-all on a Trey Udovia 3 late in the first. Second quarter, Oak Ridge outscored Del Oro 11-3 behind some nice shots from Cole Compton as Oak Ridge would head to the break up 26-17. Third quarter now, Tyus Mulholland drives the hoop to make it 33-17. However, Del Oro comes back, sparked by several three-pointers from Dom Pearson to cut the lead to 1. finished the third quarter down by just 5. Oak Ridge kept the pressure on. Battaglia with a 3 as part of his 18 points on the night. Trojans up by 7 with 3:25 left. Del Oro makes one last run. It's Parison hitting the 3 again to get to within 2 with 1:15 left. Then it's Zach Kasperite. He drives to cut the lead to 1 with 36 seconds remaining. And then watch this. Kasperite on the miss in close, but there to clean it up is Trey Adofia on the putback with 7 seconds left, putting Del Oro in the lead for the first time in this game at 56-55. One last chance for Oak Ridge, but Milholland can't get it to go as Del Oro completes the comeback with a 56-55 win. Adofia, he finished with 17 points as Del Oro improves to 2-2 in league. Oak Ridge drops to 2-3.
All right, Mike, good stuff. As you can see, realignment has made some of these super leagues. Oak Ridge moving from the Delta League into the Sierra Foothill League makes it an even stronger league. How about the boys' side? Realignment really reshaped the Delta League. Elk Grove has Pleasant Grove High School taking on Grant and Del Paso Heights. That's a great game all the time, but how about when it matters for a boys' league game?
We've got boys hoops now, and we take you to Grant High School for a Delta League matchup between the number 7 Pleasant Grove Eagles and the number 12 Grant Pacers. And this one was all Pleasant Grove. The Eagles came out red hot in the first quarter. You've got Mason Johnson scoring inside to make it 8-0 Pleasant Grove. Here's James Fox looking ahead to Johan Tate, who lays it up and in to make it 13-0. And then another easy basket with 6'8" University of Washington bound Marquise Chris finishing at the other end. It's 15-0 Eagles. Pleasant Grove would go up 17-0 before Grant finally put a point on the board at 1:45 left in the quarter. Grant would be down 23-9 after the first. Grant picked it up in the second quarter behind some terrific plays by Donovan Brown, but Pleasant Grove didn't slow down a bit. Chris dominated the paint for Pleasant Grove. He would finish the night with a TMI 23 points, and he was a force on the defensive end as well, coming up with several big blocks. Fox had another terrific night going for 21 points, coming all over the floor. The same for Tate, who did it all with 19 as a part of a terrific trio for the Eagles. Pleasant Grove cruises to an 81-46 win and sits tied atop the Delta League standings with Sheldon.
All right, Mike, always fun in Del Paso Heights for Grant Athletics, whether it's football, basketball. The Pacers kind of hit a little slide here, but a lot of talent to get it going. But when you talk about upside and talent and above the rim play, Marquise Chris, the big man, as you saw for Pleasant Grove, I saw him in the previous week. I said, take a look at him. You'll see he's even better than last year. What do you like about his game?
I'll tell you what, Joe, I saw a lot of dunks in this game, as you saw from the highlights, but he really did it all. Blocking, offense, he can do anything. He can shoot the ball. Yeah, he will dunk it as well. Still sort of that quiet leader on the floor. Everyone looks to him. But he is the man. There's no doubt about it. He's a terrific talent going off the University of Washington next year. But we'll see more of Marquise Chris as this season winds on. All right, Joe, we got more hoops highlights. Let's head up to Placer to see the Lincoln Fighting Zebras taking on the Hillman. We'll wrap up our highlights with a Pioneer Valley League opener between the 12-4 Placer Hillman and the visiting 10-7 Lincoln Fighting Zebras. This from 78-year-old Earl Crabb Gym on the campus of Placer High School. Well, Lincoln looked good early as Zach Lowe nails a 3 for a 9-2 Fighting Zebras lead midway through the first. A big night for John Reyes, who had 20 points to lead Lincoln. Zach Green is going to drain a 3 here to close out the first quarter for a 16-14 Fighting Zebras advantage. Placer stormed back in the second quarter. You've got Xavier Lovelace to Jack Kearns, who's going to put the Hillman up by 6. And as the half came to a close, Derek Haney would send Placer to the break, up by 1 at 35-34. We're going to skip ahead to the fourth quarter now, where Placer began to put this game out of reach. Jack Kearns with the defense, and he'll turn that into offense as the Hillmen go up by 6. More defense, and this time it's Haney on the steal. He'll take it all the way for 2. You've got Justin DeRusio on the putback, Hillman by 9. And getting into the mix is Marcus Ante. Tough shot there. Placer by 11 with 1:22 left. And that'll do it as Placer prevails 75-63. Haney had 16 points. DeRusio had 13. Burns added 12.
All right, Mike, good stuff. One of the great gyms anywhere is Earl Crabb Gym in Auburn. We're going to look at that gym for a feature that we're going to do in the next couple of weeks. But when we come back, we're going to have some more football, NFL draft with local prospects, why a local coach in the Sac Joaquin section has stepped down, and remembering 2 players who were great back in their day who passed away too young.
This is your RAM Auto Update.
Just in, the classic term used car is old-fashioned, outdated, and no longer of any particular relevance. Let's party. The Roseville Auto Mall is throwing a massive factory-certified pre-owned sales event. That means incredible savings on just about every kind of car in the world. All factory certified. It's happening now. It's going fast. In layman terms, skedaddle. The Roseville Auto Mall, driven to be the best.
We want to thank our title sponsor, Save Mart Supermarkets. Shop Save Mart up and down the Central Valley.
All right, welcome back to the very best of high school sports in Northern California. Big emphasis right here in Sacramento, our home base. We're coming to you from Bradshaw Christian High School in South Sacramento. Great mascot, the Pride. I'd wear that right here. I'm going to put it right there.
You have no pride.
I'm scrupulous.
Your grades aren't good enough. Right. All right, Joe, still a lot left in this show. As we mentioned at the top, we're going to catch up with a superstar duo for the Bradshaw Christian basketball team. We're not going to tell you which ones. We get some thoughts from them, and but you've got a whole lot in your notebook. Let's start it off with that. Some sad news, though, to get it going.
Yeah, two great names of yesteryear for the Sac Kings section have passed away. Gerald Deloach was a Sacramento High School football lineman who went to UC Davis, was a 4-year standout for the Aggies, a draft pick by the Oakland Raiders in 1970. Gerald Deloach, a good, decent guy, a bear of a man, coached Kennedy girls basketball in the 1980s and 90s, has passed away. And then Mike Mounts was a phenomenal scorer for Davis High School in the early 1980s. We did an all-time Sacramento Bee top 100 list of players. He was in our top 40. He passed away, throat cancer, 52 years old. Our thoughts with those families. Great players from yesteryear.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. All right, Joe, as we had mentioned, we're going to bring you our school's financial credit union Game On Athlete Week, but we're going to double it up. We got a couple athletes you and I caught up with here at Bradshaw Christian High School. It's Jordyn Bell and Erika Bean, the 1-2 punch for that terrific Pride team, coming off a section championship from a year ago, looking to do it again. So here's this week's school's financial credit union Game On Athletes of the Week. No area team has been more dominant in small school girls basketball than the Bradshaw Christian Pride, with 6 section titles in the last 7 years. And more recently, the success has been led by the Pride's outstanding senior duo and 5'8" point guard Erika Bean and 6' forward Jordyn Bell. They're good friends, competitors, and 2-time section champions. But Bean and Bell know that for Bradshaw Christian to win a 3rd straight title, they'll once again have to carry the load, and that's not always easy.
Definitely feeling the pressure, especially now that our team is so young. And we just have to step up and be senior leaders. And it's difficult at times, but we embrace the challenge.
I think there might be a little bit of pressure, but I think as the season has gone on, we've kind of been able to carry everything and kind of learning our role and helping the younger players learn theirs also.
As the team's 2 dominant leaders, both vocally and statistically, it's the chemistry between Bean and Bell that is key to their success.
I just think that since we've been playing for so long, we understand each other's chemistry and everything, and our bond off the court is awesome. We spend most of our time together, so I think that's really helps us on the court.
Away from the court, you can find Bean and Bell hanging out together, and no matter what they do, they enjoy their downtime.
We sleep a lot, but if anything, like after school, we'll go out and get lunch, just me and Erika talking, hanging out. We're really close with each other, so nothing but laughs pretty much of the time.
We can never go wrong with basketball. You know, we always go watch the games around town and everything, support our other teammates, so it's always fun, whatever we do.
With all that these two have in common, they certainly are different in their styles and their personalities.
I'm more the one who's going to speak up. I don't know, I'm just more loud and out there, where Erika can kind of contain herself. And I think it's funny because we kind of complement each other.
Jordyn is very outgoing, outward, and Erika is more inward. You know, Erika has more of a quiet spirit, but where Jordyn's more out there with what she's believing and what she's thinking. But both of them complement each other, not just on the court, where you got, Erika's more perimeter guard oriented, Jordyn's more inside wing, can move outside, but that they have a lot of respect for each other, and I think the girls respect them. They definitely are looked up to and respected by their peers.
Next year, both Bean and Bell will play Division I college basketball, with Bean heading to the Pac-12 to play for Utah, while Bell, she'll go south to UNLV, but the friendship will remain despite the distance.
I'm going to text her like every single day and just, what's up, Erika? How are you? Like, but of course I'll follow her. Like, she's one of my closest friends, so I'm going to miss her when we're not together.
Of course, can't let my teammate hanging. Just kind of keep up on her, help her and what she needs to do and everything. So, yeah, I'm excited.
So for Bradshaw Christian to finish the year in March as section champions, or perhaps more, what will be the key factor to get it done?
It'll definitely take me and Erika stepping above and beyond our roles and having all of our role players also step up in their play, especially our freshmen, since we have 4 of them this season. They just got to come with it and come hard, because each team is just going to get tougher and tougher. So we'll just see where it goes from there.
All right, Mike, good stuff there. You got a double dose of being, they can score, they could rebound, they're leaders, they're section champions, they're going to college. I think they're going to do well for a lot of years, and they may get into high school coaching and teaching. That'd be a bonus for some school.
Yeah, it would. Maybe they'll come back here. You never know. All right, Joe, last week we talked about 5 area high school football coaches that stepped down. We talked about the grind. We went at it at length. Well, here we are. We get to another week, and we get a text message, and lo and behold, another coach has stepped down, and a really good one, Joe. We really like this guy, great reputation, but he goes out, not completely worn out.
No, and that's Mike Johnson of Franklin High School in the Oak Grove Unified School District. He's a big-time champion, great sportsman, all class. He's 46 years old. He's not an old man by any means. You and I are old men, but he said, hey, it's not health-related. It's not family-related. It's just time to take a break from the grind. He's a PE teacher on campus, and he said, hey, I think PE teachers on campus should still coach something. I may do water polo. I'll learn how to swim, but he's had a good run. He's had 10-0 teams. He's had playoff teams. He's had fabulous teams. He had his son, who we profiled earlier this year on this show, Brandon Johnson, who broke his leg junior year a year ago, came back, had a productive year. Great time. He's got another son who's who's a freshman, Brady. He wants to watch him compete. So Mike Johnson is doing it for the right reasons, for himself and to live a little.
And you and I like to speculate. That's what we do. When a coaching job becomes available, maybe out in Elk Grove, you kind of think, well, maybe Pleasant Grove's old coach, Joe Catalico. What a fit that would be. Don't know if he's interested, but, it would be a good fit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and Joe Catalico is a big-time championship coach in Elk Grove. He stepped down a year ago to explore other options. I think he'd be a fabulous coach. Josh Crabtree, who did great things at Sheldon, assistant coach at American River College championship team. Those are big-time hires. They're excellent teachers, great mentors. Franklin has to find a way to get them on campus, and I think that would be a double bonus if they get one of them. How about getting 2 of them?
Yep, I agree. Let's stay on football, Joe. Recently, Eric Armstead of Oregon, formerly of Pleasant Grove, by the way, came out and said, I'm going to declare for the NFL draft, so we will see him this spring. What a talent he was, and coincidentally, the week before Shaq made his announcement, we caught up to them a couple weeks ago. Lots of fun, but we kind of thought this might be coming.
Yeah, and Shaq Thompson, the All-American linebacker out of Washington and Grant High School, he's a projected top 12 pick. Eric Armstead, the big long body, great leverage, great power, great speed, 6'8", 290 pounds. He's a projected first rounder. We haven't had 2 first-round picks in Sacramento in the same NFL draft since 1983, that famed quarterback draft that had Elway and Marino. The 2 local guys were Ken O'Brien of Jesuit and UC Davis, and Tony Eason of Delta High School and Illinois. We want the viewers to know we had these little kids running back and forth, and we were both thinking one of them's going to trip over this thing and our careers are over.
Yeah, exactly.
We
Goodbye, a camera. Yeah, we did. Very happy for both Armstead and Thompson. They're good friends, by the way. And how cool would that be if somehow they made it on the same team? Because when we interviewed them a couple weeks ago, they talked about, hey, Shaq, if you'd come to Oregon, you'd be in the Rose Bowl. But probably not going to happen. But, again, congratulations, guys, and we look forward to the NFL draft now. All right, any more football? We out of football? We got more, huh?
I think we finally have exhausted. We do have a neat little note about Jack Del Rio. Grew up in Hayward. He was a 3-sport athlete. Look at this great old photo here. This is 1982, Hayward High. Kind of funny-looking basketball form there, but a dominating 3-sport athlete. And our thinking is, if you're a 3-sport star, and if you take on 3 sports, good things happen. What happened to him? He's the new Oakland Raiders coach. His parents have been season ticket holder for decades. So 3-sport, multi-sport.
Yeah, very busy. All right, when we come back from the break, we've got more. We're going to talk a little MLS soccer, more hoops, more everything. Stick around.
There's a history you feel when you visit any of the Von Hausen automotive dealerships. You'll sense the quality of Mercedes-Benz, and you'll experience the low-pressure atmosphere that comes from 2 generations of family ownership. Mercedes-Benz of Sacramento, Mercedes-Benz of El Dorado Hills, and Mercedes-Benz of Rockland. 3 great reasons to drive one of the world's best automobiles. Come feel the difference or visit vonhausen.com.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, starting with Save Mart Supermarkets, where fresh comes first. Shop at Save Mart up and down the Central Valley. Schools Financial Credit Union, banking for everyone, value, convenience, and emerging technology. Von Hausen Automotive Group, celebrating 50 years with Mercedes-Benz. Stop dreaming and start driving. Roseville Auto Mall. If you're looking for a used car, go to the Roseville Auto Mall with over 6,000 vehicles to choose from. And Les Schwab Tires. Since 1952, we promise we'll get you more for your money.
All right, good to be back with you as we bring you the very best of high school sports in Northern California. We are the B Prep Show. Mike, you know, it's interesting. You never know when you're out shooting or I'm out reporting, even at a high school venue, who might walk into the gym. It might be somebody our size, might be somebody as tall as the gym. But in the recent weeks, you saw a former Kings coach and a current Kings all-star to be.
Yeah, real funny last week. I'm at the Granite Bay Folsom girls basketball game. I'm standing there waiting for it to start, and I hear a guy behind me with a heavy New York accent, and I look behind me, and I knew right away it was former Kings coach Michael Malone. He had a beard and a Granite Bay hat, and was wondering, what his connection was. But he was there for the game and enjoyed it. I guess he might live in that area, has some connections to the team. And then just this week, I saw Pleasant Grove and Grant, and I'm shooting the game and looking down. I look up, and out walks DeMarcus Cousins of the Kings. So it goes to show you that the Kings, former Kings, current Kings, support high school sports.
No, and they're involved in the community, and that's what's unique about high school sports in this region is they do connect big time into the community. And DeMarcus Cousins has adopted the Grant Pacers. He's been to Grant football games. He's been to Grant basketball games. Grant in Del Paso Heights isn't too far away from Sleep Train Arena. And I remember asking him at a Grant football game, I said, why are you here? Are you running security detail? And he goes, I'm a high school fan. I was in high school not too long ago. So kudos to Boogie, as we like to call him, as everybody likes to call him. So neat to see. But Mike, why don't we transition from sports? The last segment, we're going to talk about rooting sections. Who's got the best? Who's the loudest and proudest? We're going to preview some games. But MLS Draft, the MLS Super Draft, to be specific, included 2 first-round picks from this area. You know these guys well. You've seen them over the years. You got Connor Halliday of Granite Bay and Cal. Went number 10 overall to Kansas City. What a talent he is. He played for an unbeaten team at Granite Bay, and then his first 3 years at Cal, he combined for 3 goals and 3 assists. Senior year this past fall, really took off. He has a great talent there. And then the other one of note is Miguel Aguilar of Encina and University of San Francisco, 17th overall to DC United. You caught up to him a few years ago when he did his scholarship signing with USF. Here he is, now he's a professional.
Yeah, very happy for both those guys. Covered him in high school. What I remember about Connor Halliday, 2011 graduate out of Granite Bay High School. And by the way, one of his teammates that year was freshman Tommy Thompson, who is now with the San Jose Earthquakes. And then Mr. Aguilar, what a nice kid. Did an interview with him back when he did his letter of intent signing for USF, and glad to see the locals make it big. More will come. There will be more draftees. And oh, by the way, in about 8-9 months ago, I caught up with Ryan Hollingshead, former Granite Bay player, who is now with Dallas FC. So a lot of local talent in MLS.
Yeah, and a special thanks to the Cal campus paper, the Daily Californian, for those terrific photos of Halliday. Yeah, it's great to see. And you know what? I think MLS, Major League Soccer, will wind up in Sacramento. FC Republic really showed what kind of fan basis is here. Wouldn't that be great with all the Sacramento products going into the MLS to have an MLS team? This area is growing.
Yeah, it is growing. All right, Joe, every week we honor a couple athletes, and we're going to do it once again. Here's this week's Von Hausen Stars of the Week. This week's Von Hausen Stars of the Week are Eric Toles Jr. of Casumas Oaks and Isamar Conde of Oak Ridge. Toles Jr., the 6'4" senior forward for the Wolfpack, continued his outstanding play this week with 30 points and a win over Del Campo. and then followed that up 2 nights later with 20 points and 10 rebounds in another winning effort over Antelope. As for Condi, the 5'10" senior guard was a key part in helping lead the number 2 Trojans to a 2-0 week with wins over Wood Creek and Del Oro. But it was Condi's 17-point performance, the win over number 6 Del Oro, that capped off an impressive week for Condi and the Trojans.
A credit union is a not-for-profit member-owned financial institution. Can your bank say that? Demand more from your financial institution. Make the switch to Schools Financial Credit Union for low loan rates, state-of-the-art technology, making accounts accessible anytime, anywhere, and more ATMs than most major banks. Anyone who lives, works, or worships in Sacramento and its surrounding counties is eligible to join. Be part of the credit union difference and bank happily ever after with Schools.
We want to thank our title sponsors, Save Mart Supermarkets. Shop Save Mart up and down the Central Valley.
All right, bringing you the very best of high school sports in Sacramento, the Saquon Kings section, sometimes all throughout Northern California. We'll talk about NFL prospects from this area, like Shaq Thompson, Eric Armstead, 2 local products from the Saquon Kings section, declaring for the NFL draft. Both should be first-round picks. How about that? Sacramento Bee, we're going to go follow them through their pursuits. How do you find agents? How you prepare for the Wonderlic test, the Combine. You and I would be disasters for the Wonderlic and the Combine, but these guys have great athletic futures. We're going to preview some games later in this segment, but right now, let's talk loud and proud.
Let's do it. And we want to do this during the fall. We want to talk about student sections, rooting sections, whether it's football or basketball. We have a chance to see these crazy student sections. We're now in full steam at the hoops, and we're seeing a bunch. And you think of schools like Antelope, for example, great student section on the road or at home. The La Sierra Foothill Leagues have great student sections. They have nicknames. You've got Wood Creek. Out in Wood Creek, you've got the Black Mob. At Del Oro, you got the Black Hole. Oakmont, you got the Ozone. But they're all over the place, aren't they?
Yeah, in the city.
Yeah.
Up Highway 50, in Placer County, in El Dorado Hills, Folsom, Elk Grove area. Students get it. Apathy isn't cool. Being involved is cool, and the signs they have, and painting their faces, and students. We understand the students. We were students not too long ago. They will push the limit. They will push the envelope. Some of it's clever, some of it's a little crude. That's why some of the administrators at the schools have their arms crossed like bouncers, and they're facing the rooting section, not the game. Have fun, keep it clean as best as you can. But I think it's great, whether it's Rio Americano, Del Campo, Folsom, the Sierra Foothill League, up in Placer, wherever, Galt. These are great student sections, and you don't think they don't compete? They want to be louder than the others. I love the chant, "We can't hear you" kind of thing. So it's good to see that. We applaud that. Keep up the good work. In the coming weeks, we might rank the top 5 rooting sections. And we can be bought, so send us T-shirts and cash, whatever you got.
Well, what I would say is this. If you got a rooting section photo, tweet it to Joe or myself. And what we'll do, how about we just do this right on the spot? The school that we think has the best rooting section, the biggest crowd,
most creative,
the most creative, we're going to put that photo on the show in 2 weeks. We'll tweet it out. We'll make a little competition, and we'll see who has the most spirited student section, we'll call it. Remember, tweet us the photos, and we'll get them out, and the one that we like the best will appear on the show. All right, folks, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week from Folsom.